Not bad, thanks.
I love your YouTube channel, by the way. I watch him all the time.
Oh, thanks, dude. I'm glad. Okay. So you are 1.9k MMR, and you just want to get better at Dota in general. That's
Yeah,
the point of this. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. So do you mind linking me to your Dota buff page so I can just look to see what you play and stuff?
Okay.
Okay. Check it out. Okay. So you play a lot of carry. It looks like Wraith King, Lifestealer. Okay. Hero pool looks fine. Is this your only account?
Yep.
Okay. So you're still relatively new to Dota, like very new actually.
Yeah, I'm
Um.
pretty new.
Okay. Did you play Dota 1 or anything like that?
I played a little bit of Dota 1, but like not seriously at all.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So, all right. Um, trying to figure out like what I want to jump into. I think just the standard replay analysis will be good for you.
Hmm.
Do you have
Yeah.
any, did you come with like any questions that you want to go over or anything like that?
Well, I actually like want some last hitting techniques. Like, what are the right way and the wrong way to get last hit? You know?
Okay, okay. Um, so I guess I'll jump into a lobby and share my screen and just like explain some basic stuff. There's not really any technique to it. It's all about timing and knowing your hero's attack animation. But there's some theory behind it that we can talk about.
Okay.
I'm assuming you bring up techniques because you saw someone using like the stop cancel thing where they just they stutter step a lot. Should
Yeah,
have made
from time to
bots.
time.
Okay.
Better like spam stop button and
Yeah, yeah.
attack. Yeah.
Mm, okay. So I'll just do this.
I've come to put an end.
Okay. Game. Okay. So yeah, last setting really is just all about knowing your hero's attack animation and knowing how much damage you do and things like that. Basically, I'm lagging, so I'm probably gonna mess up a lot, but we'll see. But really, the main thing here is um, like unless you're playing against somebody good, like somebody who's really good, you can pretty much get most CS for free. Yeah, see, I'm already missing. So much delay. But either way, like so you probably see people that are doing the stop cancel thing like this, where they just stop and cancel. This is
Yeah,
basically
something like
just
that.
it makes the timing much easier because like you're starting and stopping the animation rather than um, just like going at it from the start. Now this is it's better to just do like a no stop cancel last hits, like just run at it like this. Like I'll try to do it here. This is because like when the opponent sees you do this, like when they see you doing this, like I'm not gonna go for the CS here, but
Yeah.
like this guy, if he's a real player, he knows that I'm going for this kind of play. Like I'm for sure going for this last hit. So I don't recommend doing that, but I think it's okay for beginners. Um, I try not to do it as much as I can, just because of that fact. But yeah. So really, the best thing you can do to get better at last hitting is just practice. There's actually a good custom game that I'll show you here. Um, this is what I recommend to almost anyone who wants to get better, or people who don't think they need to get better but actually do. But it's this one. I actually should have showed you this right away. But basically, you just download this, you jump into a game, and you can select your hero. Like it comes up with the screen, and then you can pick the time, and you just go into game and you last it, and that's really good practice. I recommend doing this like 5 to 10 minutes per day,
Yeah.
if you have the time. So other than that, there's no like trick to it really. Um, it really is just practice, doing it over and over again. It's like dribbling a soccer ball.
Hmm.
Okay, so do you want to jump into a replay, or do you have
Uh,
any like other questions?
not really.
Okay, sure. Okay, so you play a lot of Sven late, or you've been playing a lot of Sven.
Yeah.
Why don't we go over one of those? Unless you want to look at something else.
We'll do one of the Sven replays.
Okay,
Sure.
sure. So this one, it's rapiers, good stuff. All right, let's do a
Yeah,
loss.
that was the easy one. Yep.
Mhm. Okay, so you're okay. Interesting. You guys have 4 carries. All right. That's actually pretty standard, so I can probably just watch this one, and it'll be fine. It looks like an interesting Sven game anyway. So let's do this. Boop, boop. Okay, so you're Sven, you built HOD, S, and Y. Good stuff. You're building into AC, BKB. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, I don't think, like, until you get to higher MMR that you have to worry too much about item builds. As long as you have, like, the basic cookie cutter item build, then you'll be fine other than that. So let's just look at this. Now, where most people go wrong at this MMR range is they tend to group a little bit too early, and instead of just farming, rather than just farming. So let's see what happens here. But okay, so this is ranked. So you're going offlane. Were you solo offlane in this game?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So normally this is like a little weird. Do you know like the basic structure of the lanes usually? Like
I wanted to go safe lane, but that didn't happen.
Okay, yeah, you have I think 3 too many carries here, so for that to happen, but it's okay. Okay, so first things first is at the start of the game, like you kind of want to run to an area over here by the runes. This is because like in order for you to get to the rune from this point, you have to run through the river or go through the enemy jungle, and both places are really unsafe. So naturally, like the most safe option to go for the runes is through this place, because you know if you run into an enemy here, which is the only place you'll run into them, you can just run backwards, and that's good.
Yeah.
Also, when you go for the rune like this, it's better to wait a little bit before the rune is going to spawn, because now when the enemy team sees you right here, they can make a decision based off of where you're standing. So these guys can run up and hit you like for free pretty much, or you can get hooked up here, depending on how this goes. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you want to be really careful with committing to a place like this early on. Okay. Also, no matter if you get the rune or not, the first thing you want to do is run to your lane and try to block the creeps, especially if you're in the off lane. It does matter in the safe lane too. So you go... Okay, you buy Cloying Blade. That's not bad. But in this case, it would have been more beneficial for you to block the creeps. Like, basically, when you stand in front of these guys and block them, the lane is farther back. Like, it positions farther back. So, since that is the case, it's harder for these guys to harass you and push you out of lane. Because in order for them to do that, they have to run past your creeps, and you're closer to your tower. So you're much safer naturally. Okay. So you're playing against SF and Bounty Hunter. Okay. So they're not harassing you at all, so this should be a pretty easy lane for a little bit. We'll see how they end up doing this, but yeah. One thing you want to do when you jump into a lane like this, no matter what lane you're in, is click on the enemy heroes just to see what items they have. So in this case, you could click on Shadow Fiend and Bounty Hunter and see that, okay, Bounty Hunter has an Orb of Venom, so whenever he hits you, he's going to slay you. He has Tangos and Clarity, so pretty standard stuff. And then SF has a Bassi, which means, you know, he gets mana regen and a little bit of damage and stuff, but more importantly, he has no health regen. He has no Tangos or Salves. So with this in mind, any damage you do to him is going to stick. Like, he's only going to have natural regen, which is, you know, like 0.25 HP per second on most heroes, which is absolutely nothing.
Okay.
So you want to look for opportunities to trade with this guy. Yeah. Okay. One thing that you can do in lanes like this, I generally recommend this for most melee carries, is, do you know how creep aggro works? Where, like, if you attack an enemy hero, the creeps will aggro to you?
And
Okay.
follow you? Yeah.
Yep. So you issue an attack command, so you right-click the Bounty Hunter or the SF here, and then you run back immediately, like right after you right-click them, and then the creeps will follow you back, and they'll chase you a little bit, like they're doing right now, and then eventually they'll de-aggro after 2 seconds, and then they'll go back to your creeps. So what that does is it makes the creeps, like, run towards you, and it's closer to your tower in that case, or it's closer to wherever you drag them. So that makes it easier to get CS. It doesn't matter so much in this lane because they're not harassing you really, but yeah. Okay. In lanes like this, I would recommend getting 1 level in Warcry before Cleave, just because the extra armor and HP, or extra armor and movement speed will help you a lot, whereas you don't really need the Cleave yet. It's nice, but you don't need to farm very quickly yet, and you need to survive 100%, so... That would help. Okay. Okay, whenever you're low HP like this, you should really tango. Like, basically whenever you lose, like, around 150 HP or so, you should just use the tango right away. It's definitely worth it. You always want to make sure that you're at full HP so that if these guys decide to go on you, they have a smaller chance of killing you. Because they need to do more damage.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at this. Alright, so Earthshaker had just used his spell, right? Like, and he has no mana left for a fissure anyway. He could use Enchant Totem, and that's fine. So in this case, rather than going on SF, you should wait for Earthshaker to have his mana back. Because unless you can kill SF by yourself, which in this case you cannot, it's kind of like a waste for you to go on him, so to speak. Like, it's nice because any damage you do is going to stick in this case. But if this guy is slightly better, then he's going to have regen, and you're just going to be wasting your mana pretty much. Whereas if you wait for Earthshaker to have a stun, you guys could kill him for sure. If you coordinate your stuns. Okay, so here you go on him. Pudge had an Invis rune, so this is pretty unlucky. But your stun placement was really good here. You hit all 3 heroes. But unfortunately, since you got hit by the rot, you're just dead. So I think the biggest issue here was you should have just waited for your teammate to have a spell before you go in.
Like you see, as he lifted his totem to do his second skill, I thought it was a fissure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I went in.
Yeah, the animations are like very slightly different. But yeah, okay, that's understandable. Also, in these lanes where you're in like kind of a weird position, like in the off lane, it's usually better to buy boots first. Just because like running faster means you're harder to kill and harder to catch, harder to right click, harder to cast spells on. It's very nice. It's a very nice item to have early on, especially against a hero with slows like Pudge. Okay. So when you're positioning against skill shot heroes like Pudge, you want to kind of keep their skill shot in mind at all times, like where it's going to travel. So in this case, Pudge is below you, and he's to your left. So in order for you to prevent yourself from getting hooked, you need to either dodge it, or you can make it very easy for yourself by just keeping the creep wave in between you and Pudge. So look at this. So right here, you're positioning like in a place where Pudge can hook you pretty easily, if you were to choose to fire it. But it looks like he's not going to. But either way, your positioning should be somewhere like right here, basically, is where you should be, because that way these 2 creeps are in between, and it's harder for him to hook you in that case. Okay. Alright, so you go for treads first. It's fine. If you're in a fighting lane, it's good to go treads. Normally, if you're free farming on Sven, it's better to go Hum of Dominator so you can begin stacking more quickly. But yeah, even so, this game is going okay. You died once, but you have 18 CS in the off lane, so it's not bad at all. Okay. Yep, that's good. You needed to help your Earthshaker there, so you helped him out. That's good. Okay. One trick you can do in situations like this, when the lane is pushed up like this, since you want to keep the creep wave back as far as possible, like closer to your tower, so you're safer, you can actually like cut these trees down, or just 1 or 2, and then aggro the creep wave into your oncoming creep wave. Like, have you done that before as a support or anything like that?
I don't know. Like, I never done it on that lane, so I don't know the time sequence, like when to do it.
Yeah, it's about 20 to 22 seconds. It's pretty easy. You can even wait until it's about here, and then just pull it down like this way, and that will make it much easier. Or another general rule is when the creep wave gets to this tower, this tier 1 tower, then you can pull it, and that's okay as well if you don't like the timer so much.
So at like 53 seconds also?
Yeah, about that time. Or 50 seconds. Either one is good. Alright. Okay. So it looks like our Earthshaker didn't have mana for stun. Yeah, he doesn't have a fissure. Okay. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, mana was a bit of a problem for me too.
Yeah. Well, part of that comes from when you go for like harass like this. Like I think when going on the bounty here is sort of a mistake, but only because Earthshaker can't follow up. If he was able to fissure, then bounty 100% dies. But yeah. So basically in this case, it's kind of like a waste of mana almost because you didn't hit first. Think of it like this. So when you stun first, you basically your DPS is much lower than if you were just hitting him right away. Basically, like, look, I'm kind of bad at explaining this, and I've tried to explain it a lot, but basically, like, imagine the situation right now. If you wait for him to get, to the center of the sentry ward, then you hit him, then you stun, or you hit him, and then you Warcry, and you keep hitting him until he's just about out of the sentry vision, and then you stun. And then, like, basically, you have all of that time to hit him, and then you get more time to stun. Whereas here, like, you waited till he was a bit farther away. And also, you did hit and then stun, which is really good. Like, that's a good habit. But you could have gotten more hits in rather than just stunning right away. But yeah, basically, long story short, this is, like, not going to happen because Earthshaker cannot use Fissure right now. But it would have been a really good play if you had used Fissure. Because then, like, even though you're out of mana, you'll still have, like, the golden EXP from the kill. So that's good.
Okay.
Also, do you know how to tread swap?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's something you should try to do in all of your games, especially on a hero like Sven, who has a low mana pool. Okay. 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 So since you don't have stun here, you have no way of helping this guy.
Yeah.
In this case, like, it would be okay to like cast Warcry and try to get him out that way, but you have absolutely no way to help him. So the best thing you can do here is just go for last hits and make sure you don't die as well. If you had stun, then you could. You probably wouldn't even save him, honestly, if you had stun. So basically, like, when he gets hooked, you can't really help him. So running over here is kind of a waste. It sucks because now you're not going to be able to stay in lane that easily if these guys choose to zone you, but yeah. Okay, Spudge walks up. Okay. So I think you actually get this kill if you cast Warcry. Basically, anytime you're taking physical damage from somebody, especially when they're going on you like this, you just want to cast Warcry. It gives you a lot of movement speed, and it also gives you 5 armor at level 1, which is a lot. Like, to put things in perspective, at level, whatever level you are, at level 5, you have 6 armor.
Yeah.
-3 because of SF, but yeah. So you could basically almost double your armor just by casting this one spell, which is like very significant when these guys are right-clicking you like this. But yeah, I think you kill Pudge and maybe get away there if you had Warcry early. It's hard to say though, because they do a lot of magic damage as well. But it ends up working out, but still could have been slightly better.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. You're looking around before you TP. It's good. Okay. Alright. There's not much more you could do here. Diving is definitely not the play. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay. I think the only thing you should have done here was wait for Legion to hit you and like then start running away, or wait for her to start running away before you stun, because it's still the same idea as like the thing below, or the thing that happened bottom lane, is she's already in attack range, so you don't need to stun her. And this is only because she doesn't have like a defensive ability like a blink or maybe a force staff or something like that. So because, like, as soon as she commits to a fight, she has to stay there until she decides to run away. You should wait until she's running away before you use your stun. That way you can get more hits in. That being said, I'm not convinced that she actually dies, so.
I think she actually dies, yeah.
Oh, shit, okay, yeah, she commits to this path. Okay. Wow. Alright. Oh, she gets to do... Alright. So she definitely didn't... She died, but she didn't lose out on that trade. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, like, this is just a bad chase because like you guys have to commit so far in order for it to happen. He ends up messing up a little bit too. I think he could have gotten out of this like very easily, but he ends up getting a duel. So what do I know? That would have been pretty bad. Yeah. So this is not a good play, but you know whatever. Actually, okay. So there's one thing you could have done here actually. If you swap to intelligence treads right now, you could actually be here for the Alk and just stun her, and she'll die. So there were a couple things that you did wrong here. I think the dive is incorrect on its own, but let's just assume, like, entertain the idea of this dive being the correct play. How would you go about doing it? Okay. So first things first, you chase Legion up the high grounds. Okay, hitting her. Okay, she ditches you guys. You basically know 100% that she went up this way based on, you know, what you have vision of. Then you see her out of the corner of your eye here, the corner of your screen here, just off the illusion. So you should know that she's there. So what you can do right now, since she's right here and she just committed to this path and hasn't moved, you can just swap to in treads, run right over, and you and Alk will be able to go there. Alk still has enough of his ult going to tank the tower. Like he still has the tankiness. So if you just walk over and stun, she'll die, and she won't get a kill on Alk. So that was something you made a mistake on. So that would have been quite good, but it's okay. Okay, it looks like you're gonna hit this tower. Okay. It's okay to God Strength in this situation, and just push the tower. In fact, it's good. God Strength has a really low cooldown. It's only 80 seconds, and you're probably not going to be team fighting anyway, so you might as well use it to get a tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fresh meat.
Okay. Wow, alright. So let's look at this. First things first, you should have salved up. You still have one in your inventory, and there's no reason to be so low at this point in the game. You do have Tangos going, which is good, but you're still at a point where if you get hooked by Pudge, you're going to be in some trouble. So that was mistake number one. Mistake number two was not just going on this guy right away. It would have been okay if you just stunned and like you and Alchemist went on her. Basically, like she's just not strong enough to take on two heroes right now, unless you guys don't hit her all at the same time. And that's what happened here. Also, if you ever expect that Legion Commander is going to duel you when you're Sven, you can just activate Warcry first and then God Strength second. That will give you some extra armor for the fight, and you also do a ton more damage. I think the armor might have saved you in this situation. Yeah, it probably would have. It would have saved you at least like one more right click, and then you might have been able to run away at that point and salve up. So that would have made a big difference there. Kind of hard for her or for you to read that situation, but yeah. Okay. Okay, so you go top. I think in this case it would be better to just go bottom. Basically, like, and I didn't agree with you going mid because, like, you know, Alk was already farming this, but basically when you play Dota, you have to look at the map and see, like, you know, what lanes are occupied and what you benefit from, or how going to this lane would benefit you. In this case, like going mid, it's okay. It's not the best at all because Alk is already farming here, but it's not horrible. Whereas like bottom lane was free at the time, and it's a hard lane bottom for sure, but you were getting farmed down there before. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but basically, long story short, if you see somebody farming a lane on your team, then there's no point going there unless you have a specific plan in mind. It's better to go to the unoccupied lane in order to get farm, so long as you feel like you're going to be safe.
All right.
Okay. So in this case, you went top again, or you went top for the first time, and this isn't that good because you guys don't need to push. You have 4 carries, right? Like you have Alchemist, Sven, TB, and Medusa, all extremely good late game heroes. And you outscale the enemy team because you have more carries that do more damage. So if you guys are all farming, then you'll win the game eventually. So when you go top like this, you're basically trading farm with Medusa, or you're competing with Medusa for farm. So you don't want to do that. It's better to go to the unoccupied lane. And even if you get a kill here, it's still like unlikely that these guys should actually die. Okay, so Bunny dies. Looks like Pudge might die. Okay. Yeah, so Pudge dies. Now it turned out okay. I still don't think it's great unless you guys get the tower. But basically what happens here if these guys just decide to back off, like they just let you TP top, you're stuck here with 2 carriers farming the same lane. Where like these guys had no reason to fight. There was no reason for them to try to go for a play. I mean, obviously they did go for it, and that's, you know, fine and all. But I think you understand my point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dire's bottom tower
So
is under
try not to like
attack.
compete for farm with other carry.
Well, it's different. Try not to TP to a lane that is already occupied by a carry. It's okay, like, if you're farming a lane, and then, let's say Medusa did the same thing to you, where you were farming this right now, and then Medusa TP's in. It's okay to just take the farm then. And it's also okay to give her the farm, it doesn't matter. But generally, you just like want to split up the map, if possible, and farm different lanes at once. Like, for a number of reasons. The biggest reason is just, like, if 2 people are farming 2 different lanes, they're getting golden EXP for themselves, like solo golden EXP. They're getting all the gold out of the lane. Whereas if 2 people are farming the same lane, they're only getting, like, what is in this lane. And they're also splitting the XP. So it's just more efficient to split up the map. Okay. So it ends up working out, which is fine. I still don't think it was optimal by any means, but yeah.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay. Yeah, so it ends up being pretty bad, which sucks. You give up a kill and you give Legion dual damage. Only advice here is you could salve up before this, but I think you die no matter what, so... yeah, in general, like, there's just no reason for you to group. At this early in the game anyway. You could very easily just, like, go get farm in the jungle or go bottom.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Okay.
attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Okay, so in this case, top lane is empty, so you go top. This is perfectly fine. It's a good thing to do. You also have a TP on you, that's good. Okay. Okay, so situations like this are times when you want to go jungle. Basically, you have a Stout Shield and Quelling Blade, and you do enough damage to kill jungle creeps. So what you want to do is after you push this wave out, you want to just go to this hard camp and do it. You know, assuming it's not stacked or whatever. It's okay to use God Strength to kill it, kill stacks, but yeah. Basically, like, right now you're doing nothing. Like, you could very well be AFK, and it would be the same outcome. But if you go to this creep camp, you're getting more gold and EXP in between, like, waiting for the creep wave. So you're, like, making better use of your time.
Okay.
And this applies to heroes that do a lot of AoE damage or can kill, you know, creep camps very quickly, like Sven.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower. Illusion.
So just pushing. Gotta be a little careful here because Legion is off the map. Yep, there she is. Shows up. Okay. Okay. So yeah, at this point, like, one, you should have clicked on Legion Commander to check her inventory. I'm really surprised that this guy didn't just go on you and kill you. He could very easily just toggle armlet, use pressy attack, and then blink duel you, and you die with no counterplay opportunity. So I'm shocked that he didn't do that, but you know, it's okay. So the level game. So you should be dead here, like a couple times now. The big issue with this is you didn't click on her and check her inventory, and, you know, see what she could have done. Okay. Also, just curious, but what server do you play on?
What server?
Yeah.
US East.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yep, she just kills you. Oh, really close. Okay. So it's like slightly different in this case because you're under tower, and I think you also get oh no, you don't get any spells off. Okay. So actually, if you use God Strength here, I think you just kill her. You don't kill her, but like you do a lot more damage. She dies like pretty much as soon as your teammates get here. So that would be good. It looks like she's gonna die anyway, but yeah. So like this would be slightly different if she jumped you earlier. Basically because, like, you know, she wouldn't have to run away here. You also get the stun off, which is good. But yeah, I think you understand my point. Okay. So this ends up working out. That's good. Oh, that's a really nice toggle actually. Okay. Wow, she gets
I
it.
don't
Holy
think
shit.
she got away.
Okay, holy shit. I don't think I've ever seen a 1.9k player armlet toggle like this. That's hilarious. Alright. What a player. Alright, anyway. Okay. So right now, like, and this game is a bit different because you're an offlane Sven. But your CS count is a bit low compared to what it could be if you had been like spreading out and just focusing on farm rather than grouping up and like farming with your teammates or whatever. This is something I recommend to like pretty much anyone that's under 4K. Is just like if you last hit more, you will gain MMR no matter what. It doesn't matter if you think you're not getting better, or if you think your teammates suck or whatever, or if you think your opponents are better than you or anything like that. That is always the best advice I can give for anyone that's below 4K. So in this game, if you had like a faster HOD, for example, like you got it at 14 minutes instead of 15 minutes, 50 seconds. You could have started stacking the ancients faster. That accelerates your farm more quickly, or that accelerates your farm, and you get your next items more quickly, which matters, right? Like if you have more items, you do more damage. You're tankier, depending on what you buy, and heroes are easier to kill. So that really is like the best advice I can give. The rest of this matters for sure, but the last hitting thing matters much more, I think. Okay. So let's talk about this decision.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So I think in this case, rather than TPing bottom, it would have been wiser to just to run down mid or TP mid and just push this lane. You could also go top and that would be fine. But basically, like, this tower is already dead. And you TPing here is not going to change that no matter what. You can't kill all of these heroes, and if they're smart, or if they're, like, remotely decent, they shouldn't back off when you TP. They should just do what they're doing right now. In fact, SF should be a little more aggressive. But, yeah, so you being here isn't going to stop the tower from dying, just because it's so low, and you don't have a lot of teammates here. So in this case, it would have been better to go top or mid, probably top, and just push this lane. That way, even though they get this tower, this was like unchangeable after a certain point. Like, you can't do anything to affect the outcome here. But what you can do is you can go get farm in another lane and pressure this lane. And, maybe get this tower in response, since it's so low. That would have been a really good option, actually. Okay. Okay, just hitting creeps, that's fine. When you buy HOD, you really need to make sure you charm, or you take control of a neutral creep, or a range creep or something, and start stacking the ancients, or just anything really. That's the whole point of this item. It gives you nice, armor and lifesteal so you can jungle, but really the point of the item is for stacking. That accelerates your farm like quite a lot. Okay, and also like, so basically like, you said you watched a lot of my videos, and I say the same shit over and over again in them. It's kind of just like, when you're grouping like this, you're not necessarily getting anything. Maybe you end up winning a team fight or whatever, but there's no reason to be even top here. Like, the enemy team isn't pushing, they're not doing anything up here. They're just being, like, stupid, basically. They're not fighting for objectives or anything like that. Rather than running up all this way, what you should be doing is just, like, hitting neutral creeps, or hitting lane creeps, ideally, and getting this bottom tower in response. Like, this is one of the biggest issues that pretty much anyone below 4K has. It's the most common one I see anyway, is they're afraid to leave their teammates alone or something like that. I'm not sure what the exact like rationale is, but there really is it. Like, it's totally fine to just farm a lane and like push a lane out. It's really beneficial actually, especially in games where you don't know if your teammates are making the right calls, or you're not experienced enough of a player to make calls for your team or anything like that. Basically, whenever you're on a hero like Sven or Jug or anti-mage or any kind of push and carry, you just always default to pushing out lanes. And if you can't push lanes, then you go do neutrals. And if the jungle is unsafe, then you go back to lanes, or vice versa. Unless you have a specific plan in mind, then it's almost always better to just focus on getting CS and trying to improve like this number here. Like, it's this kind of thing is basically like the fundamental skill of basketball or soccer or whatever, like dribbling, passing to your teammates, and everything. But really, it's something that before you get past this, it's really hard to improve on anything else, and it almost doesn't matter. Okay.
I'm surprised you love
See, like, there's just been so much time here where you're kind of just like running around. It's like you're spending your time moving around the map rather than hitting creeps. And there's like a whole undiscovered, region down here that has really like a lot of gold. Like basically, like there's creep waves, there's neutral camps that are completely untouched. It's also warded, so you guys know where everything is. It's a really nice spot for you guys to farm, and nobody is taking advantage of it. And like even right now, Legion Commander is pushing out bottom. So right now you could just go under the tower, just push this creep wave, then go back. Clear all this. Like there's so much you could be doing here. But instead it ends up being you group, and in this case like they run away, so you don't get anything. So this whole rotation is wasted.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So what is SF doing? Okay. You end up chasing even further too, which sucks. Okay. So yeah, at this point I think we should just jump to another replay or go to questions or whatever. I know you scheduled an hour and a half, but I think at this point it's just going to be me like beating a dead horse. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's jump to a different replay.
Yeah, can you watch like a replay where like I won and point out things that I should keep doing or something like
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, so let's just look at this. No, probably not this one. Looks like a stomp.
Yeah, that one's a joke.
Yeah. Okay. Data list, okay. Alright, so this one you had 540 GPM. It's not bad.
What would be like the average GPM for like a good game?
For a good game or a good player?
Both.
Okay. Well, the game depends entirely on the MMR bracket. Like, this is probably adequate for, like, your MMR.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say this is fine if you're, farming. Okay. I'd say, like, a good player that has a good game will get, like, probably 800 GPM pretty regularly, depending on his, like, what heroes he's playing against and what heroes are on his team.
Okay.
Okay, so you're playing against, yeah, okay. So let's look.
I believe that's a better lineup too than last game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because last game you had so many carries, it was kind of hard to find farm. But yeah, so this will probably be a better judgment of how you play carry. So this will be good.
I'm not sure if I got top lane. I mean, I'm safe lane in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like you should have. Just looking at the teammates, but you never really know.
Storm Spirit.
Okay. Okay, so you are... Yeah, looks like you're safe lane. That's good. Okay.
The battle begins.
Oh, you even get the bounty rune. Okay, yeah, it's totally fine that you took it in this case. Just if Storm is, next to you or whatever, like the mid hero. If he wants it, then he always gets priority. That's pretty important.
First blood.
Okay. When you're safe lane and you go for the bounty rune, you generally want to cut this way. Like, as soon as you take it, you want to run up through the river, go this way, and then meet the creeps here. That way you can block them a little bit, and the lane will be closer to your tower, and then it will be farther away from the offlaner's tower in response, and then they're in a more vulnerable position. So, like, imagine instead of the creep wave being here, it's like here, or like right here. So then AA has to run, that much further to get back to his tower. Okay, you got Coin Blade, that's fine. Okay, so in this lane, you guys have basically a couple ways to kill these heroes. The biggest way is just pressing all of your buttons at once and killing this AA. It looks like you're going to do that here. Okay, yep, good. So at this point, they can't even come to this lane. That should just happen every time they come back. until you guys are out of mana, basically. Okay, so ideally the supports are not sitting in lane like this. This is something you cannot control though, so there's not much you can do about it. So the best thing you can do is just make sure that you don't mess up the creep equilibrium, and just keep it right here, and keep farming like the best you can. When you skill cleave so early, basically every time you hit an enemy creep, you're going to push the lane a little bit, unless you're very mindful of, how much damage you do and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's better to go 1-0-1 and then hold your skill points until you're ready to start doing neutral camps, and then you can skill creep, or then you can start skilling cleave. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I should start off with just 1 and 3 and not cleave.
Yeah. So level 1 you get Stormhammer, level 2 you get Warcry, and then you can hold your skill points until you're ready to go do neutrals.
Okay.
Then you can max cleave, and that's totally fine. Okay, so now since Nyx is here, the lane becomes a little different. You guys still win for sure, but it's like whenever you go on troll, Nyx should be able to respond with an AoE stun. So you can't go for like a shackle play, for example, because he can just interrupt it. So it becomes harder to kill. But in this case, you guys still have like the laning advantage, just because of how much damage you do.
Stupendous. All look alike to you.
Okay.
Denied.
Okay, so he tricked you with an illusion rune. That's funny. Do you have a lane ward? No. Okay. So yeah, a way you can test this is just by hitting him. Like you guys did way too much damage to him here to for this not to be an illusion. So that would have helped a little bit. You end up using a lot of mana, and actually this is like quite a big bait on his part because now you don't have mana to stun, and you don't have mana to go for a kill. One thing you can do if you have mana issues on Sven is since you don't spend all your gold at the start of the game anyway, you can just buy a clarity potion or a mango or something like that, and that will help you a little bit, I think.
Actually, can I be right back in like 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Rogue's thanks be with you. Let's kill these foes before we start.
Alright, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, no worries. Alright, so not much has happened here, really. Pretty standard stuff. Go back, though. Okay. So you end up taking a little bit of a bad trade here. Let's look. Okay, so you get clarity by one of your supports, that's fine. In this case, there's no reason for you to walk up, really. Like, it's okay for you to get the CS here, but you gotta know that these guys are, like, waiting for you to do this, basically. Maybe they're not, but they should be. It's just very common for the carry to go for CS, right? So that's the easiest time for this guy to hit his stun. So you should just be careful when you're doing this. Okay, so this is all fine. One thing about your camera positioning, though, basically, like, when you're running back to the tower like this, you don't need to be looking at your hero. Doesn't matter. Like, your camera should be your hero in the corner like this, and then you looking at what is behind you. like in this case, since you're running away, you don't need to, know what's ahead of you really. Like the tower is here. This isn't just going to magically change. So, yeah, just basically like watch who your pursuers are, what they're doing, stuff like that. I think that will help a little bit. All right.
Dire's
Okay.
middle tower is under attack.
Okay, so this is an annoying lane for sure, but your CS count is a little bit low compared to what it should be. Part of this is because like you miss him under tower, but also you miss him in lane as well. I'm like really hesitant to go on to anything else other than this, just because it's so big, right? Like you need to learn how to walk before you run, and like the CSing in this case is the walking part. It's just incredibly important. I don't know how else to get it through. Okay. So actually, this is what I'm going to recommend. We should finish up the hour here, and then save the last 30 minutes for like sometime in the future. So like a week or two from now, and that way like you can apply this and try to get better at CSing. Like do your best with that, and see how that see how that helps you. And we can meet back in a week or two and like look at progress. Maybe you figure out something that you want to ask, something like that.
Sure.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think like if we sit here for another 40 minutes of me saying like, oh, you need to last hit, all right, you should just go farm here. It's like it's not really giving you the best value for your money.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's finish up this replay and then we can do some other stuff after that. All right.
Dire's top tower.
So you're just lasting. It's all good. Okay. Looks like Pudge dies here. Okay. So since Warcry gives so much armor, and it's also very low mana cost, don't be afraid to just use it right when a fight starts. It really helps. Like, I don't think Rasta lives here no matter what, but it's still worth a try for sure. Just giving him the extra armor and the movement speed, it could help in some situations. Okay, the stun was totally fine though. That's what you need to do. Okay, so you had a good thought here. It was to use a tango in the middle of the fight, but ideally, number one, you were tangoing before it. So like right here, you have a tango going instead of just being low. Like this is kind of like what we talked about earlier in the last game, where you just want to be full HP constantly, so that if a fight ever breaks out, or if they try to go on you or anything, you're full HP, so you naturally like take more hits to kill. Yeah, so that's something you could have done a little better. Might not have saved you, but it might have. I'm pretty sure it would have, helped at least. Oh my shit, okay. These guys actually kill this guy with Fatal Bonds. That's ridiculous. Okay, I can't believe what I'm watching here. This poor guy. Alright,
All
anyway.
because of Nick.
Yeah. Okay. CTP mid here. I think this is pretty fine. Basically, like, Storm is still bottom, so this is actually great. Like, this is what I like to see. You're using your head here. A lot of people don't do this. This is really good. Like, there's no reason for you to be bottom right now, because Storm is there. Like, he's going to be farming it. So you just TP mid. This is really good. Now you can just farm this lane. It's so good. Very, very good habit. Oh no, okay. So, again, don't be afraid to use Warcry. Even just like right now, even though you're not going to take any damage at all, just like using it to get Rasta faster and like, run a little bit farther, more quickly, that will allow him to get a stun like a little bit sooner than this, and you wouldn't have to take tower hits in this case. So that would have saved you some HP just by investing the mana. You did end up using it, but it was a little bit late. So yeah, you at least get the armor for the bonus tower shots, but yeah, you understand what I mean. Like the radius on this, like this is the radius, so it's quite big.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So my only advice here is just like make sure you're not tunnel visioning on your hero like this. Always try to like keep the whole game in mind and like try to see who's off the map. So in this case, let's look at your perspective and see what vision you have. for like 10 seconds before this. Okay, so you go for the rune. You just dove mid, so it's natural that people will be coming to you. Okay, so the ward just dies here, so it's a little bit unlucky that Pudge runs this way. But basically, like right now, there's only 2 heroes on the map. One is Spectre top, and the other is Nyx, and he's right in front of you. So by you walking up on this cliff, you're kind of saying like, okay, I'm putting myself in danger, and that's okay, but I need to make sure that I don't get stunned by somebody, or I don't get hooked at a fog or something. So in this case, I would argue that it would be better to go to the jungle, just because like the lane is in such a far out position. It would be different if the lane was right here, right? Because then you're very close to your tower. It's harder for you to get hooked, because like the way the creeps are positioned and everything. So yeah, you were just out a little bit too far here when Pudge was off the map.
No, you expire.
Okay.
Radiant's middle tower
So you respawn, go mid, it's totally fine again. Storm is off doing stuff, so this is good. Okay, right here, you're about to hit 6. Like, this is really important, actually, because you have a kill here. Basically, like, you're 1 creep wave away from 6. Just looking at your EXP here. A little bit less than that, even. I'd say, like, 3 creeps. Yeah, just 3 creeps, and you'll be level 6. Maybe even... No, it's just 2, actually. Okay, holy shit. So yeah, when you walk in, or when you TP in here, what you could have done is, like, get these creeps low.
Dire's top tower
Like,
is
okay,
under
keep hitting him. That's all fine. Yep. You hit once more, and then you stun the range creep. And because AA is so close, like, you'll kill the range creep, and you'll also get level 6 because the range creep dies. And then you can level up God Strength, use it, and then Warcry after him, and he just dies. He has no counterplay. So that was the play in this situation. But even just, like, waiting to get 6 off, like, normally, and you don't have to do the tricky stun thing. But yeah. You do know that, okay, no, you definitely know it, because I saw you do it last game. Okay, never mind.
Oh, know what?
That Stormhammer is an AoE stun. So, like, if you stun... Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, you know that, so that's good. But yeah, this was definitely a kill on him. If you just, like, got 6, leveled up God Strength, and went on him. You don't even have to do anything fancy, really. You just can't do anything. Okay, he can still die here. And it's mainly because, like, he just doesn't have boots. Like, you just run way faster, and you do a ton of damage. He has no way to kill you. Okay. Storm ends up going on. Okay. Let's look at it again. Okay, so right now Nyx is off the map, so you need to keep that in mind. But basically, as soon as Storm goes in, like, you guys just kill the AA with little to no issues. One thing you want to keep in mind, though, is that you never want to stack CC if possible. So in this case, like, when a Storm Spirit goes on somebody, they're naturally going to cast a Vortex, right? Because that's like, you know, you go on them, you want to CC them. So in this case, you should have waited to throw your stun until, like, the Vortex was over. That way, as soon as the Vortex is over, he's stunned again, and he still can't do anything. And he's still stuck in position.
Yeah.
Fortunes change.
Okay, everything else is fine, though. Like, you have to back off immediately, so this is okay.
Over here now.
Dire's
Okay.
bottom tower is under attack.
Not much you could do there.
Dire's structure
In this case, you definitely should go jungle, yep.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay.
Dire's bottom tower.
Alright, so because you are out of mana here, it's actually best to do this camp, and then immediately go to the hard camp here, and clear this. Like, you can just use Warcry, use everything, and then go to base. And buy a TP. Basically, like, since you have no mana, you're kind of like you're like a melee creep that farms really fast. You just don't do anything for your team. So if there's never an opportunity for you to TP somewhere, then you won't be able to take it because you can't TP and stun or TP and Warcry or anything like that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Okay. So you end up getting a lot of farm, and that's all good.
Is under attack.
Okay. Try to go for a kill again. Yeah, in order for this to happen, basically, like, you need to lead. It's pretty tough, though. Also, your approach should not be straight down the lane. It should be, like, from the side here. So, like, you can... If these trees were not cut down, like normal, you could go, like, here and run this way and try to go for him. And that would be pretty easy. But, yeah. Basically, you want to avoid going for plays like this just because they have so many gankers, and they also have Spectre. So Spectre can be anywhere she wants on the map if she uses Haunt. And they also have heroes who are gonna, like, very likely going to counter gank if you try to go for stuff like this. And it looks like you end up getting punished. Basically, this guy is just too close to his tower for you to try to go for an aggressive play.
I was expecting a heal from
Dire's
a
middle
warlock,
tower
I
is
think.
under attack.
Well, either way, like you should be careful of, acting on what you think your teammates will do rather than acting on what they actually will do. It looks like they messed up pretty badly, but you might still die anyway. Okay. Oh no, you end up living. Okay. So that's good. I'm pretty sure you just die here if Nyx just hits you and then stuns. Okay, so he... Yeah, so rather than leading with Vendetta and getting the bonus damage, he just stunned right from stealth.
Yeah.
So that's a big mistake on his part. You definitely die in this case. Like Vendetta is 250 damage, plus
Dire's
another right
middle
click.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, so that was a big mistake on his part, for sure.
Fresh meat.
Okay. So you get out of jail free in this case, but definitely should have died. But it's okay.
You are a true friend. Invisibility.
Okay.
Where's the bot?
So you TP top here. Looks like it's gonna work out. So this is fine, right? Like,
It was just to help my friend, I think.
yeah, no, I think this is totally fine. Like in this case,
Where's the body?
you can kind of infer that these guys are gonna keep chasing, just based on what's going on, and like they have teammates coming, so it's okay. And you also know that like they're gonna be, if they chase, they can only go through this little corridor here, so you can get a good AoE stun no matter what. So this is a good TP, and you're getting a lot of kills out of this, and you pretty much are guaranteed to get them. They're like years by right, basically. Like it's unlikely that these guys are just gonna back off. So I think this is fine.
Is my God Strength timing like correct, or should I have done it in a fight?
It's good to do it early for sure. I was gonna comment on your positioning. It's like very slightly off. It would have been better to just like God Strength right here and then just work right in. But it's 100% the right idea to God Strength beforehand. Basically, like when you hit and then try to God Strength afterwards, or if you stun and then God Strength, you're like wasting very valuable time. Whereas like since you God Strength before the fight, you don't have to spend like that little animation time, like on casting the animation. You can just use it for DPS. So that was really good. That was a really good habit. Yes, good an AoE stun, good turn. Yep, good stuff. Okay, so here you should go buy your HOD at the side shop and get a creep if possible.
Dire's top
Okay,
tower.
you get tower, that's fine.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower
Okay,
is
so that
under
ended up being
attack.
quite a big play. It's good for you guys. Also, in situations like this, it's really good to go for towers like you guys did. You always want to make sure that if you're healthy enough to go for a tower, then you do.
Yeah.
Towers are what, make Dota... or let me rephrase. Towers, if you kill them, you win Dota. It's that simple. So, it's a good thing to take, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Fresh meat.
So, by TPs, HOD, good. In this case, it would have been okay to just stick around, rather than TP out. Basically, like, you have your HOD, and you have TP. So, what you do is, you run over to this hard camp really quickly, you charm one of the little creeps, and then you send it off into the jungle, so you can see if anyone's coming to gank you. And that way you can do this camp, then you can go to this camp, and then this camp will be respawned again, or maybe the wave will be pushed out. And you can keep yourself safe-ish by scouting for people. Obviously, you can't see invis heroes, but yeah. So that would be okay. Or alternatively, if you see a bunch of enemy heroes, then you can just leave, because you see them and you have a TP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pudding pop.
I also don't think there was any point to TP mid. Like, I guess you could try to push the tower or anything, but, like, these guys' natural progression is to run down the river in this case, so they're going to be at mid soon anyway. It would have been better to just go bottom here and take this farm. Or it would have been, totally fine to do that.
I think I was trying to save like Warlock or something.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen.
Yeah. That's something you want to be careful of. Basically, like, it's good to save people, but it's better to win games and farm a lot. And the easiest way to win games, by far, is farming and just getting really strong, especially at this bracket. That's still true up until, like, 6 to 7k. Like, the best farmers also happen to be the best players in most cases. So, yeah. Unless you plan on, like, or unless you saving people involves just, like, killing 1 or 2 people, then you should probably just stick to farming and, like, pushing out creep waves, like these ones. That would be pretty big. That's what I tell, like, pretty much everyone. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Let's look at this. So you don't know where Nyx is right now. When AA shows in lane like this, like, one of two things is happening. He's being really, really dumb, or he's baiting. It's tough to assume, or tough to know which one is which. Sometimes people are just that dumb, but basically you just gotta like entertain the idea that oh, you actually had, holy shit, you had info. Okay, but either way, you have to entertain the idea that he's just being a bait. Like he knows that people are gonna come down here and try to kill him. Like this guy looks so juicy. Like he's an AA with no mana and no TP. Like he's a sitting duck. So he knows people are gonna come down and attract people. So you got to be careful in this situation. Also, in this case, like you had a vision of this courier for like a split second, so that should have been a giveaway that there are people here. It's tough to notice this, but it's something you could have noticed. Also, when Pudge shows here, I think you just back off. Maybe you can go farm and TPN or something, rather than going for this. I think that would have been bitter. It's a much easier set, set in hindsight and everything, but yeah. Okay. And it looks like it's not even that bad, but you do end up dying, which sucks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright, well, I think this is where we should wrap up and save the 30 minutes that we have left for next time.
All right.
Do you have any like final questions or anything? If not, I can just recap.
Not really, no.
Okay. So, yeah, big things were just like the last thing we covered was helping teammates only if it involves you getting kills. And that way you don't end up making like really big mistakes. Or at least big mistakes involving like rotating to the wrong place and you always get farm. Always do your best to push out creep waves if possible, rather than pushing out neutrals or killing neutrals. And what was the last thing? Oh yeah. Basically, like this last hit challenge thing is king. Hit challenge. Yeah, I already have it open. Okay. So if you do this like 10 minutes per day on whatever hero you want to play that day, or whatever hero you want to get better at, this will help you so much. Like, it sounds so dumb, right? Because like, if all you have to get better at is CSing, then why aren't more people higher MMR? I don't know, but it really does. Like, it makes a huge difference. If you just focus on getting like 50 CS at 10 minutes every game, and then don't worry about what happens after that. Just try your best to win. You will increase your MMR like very, very surely, and it's not even necessarily slowly, but it will be guaranteed increase if you hit that number every game. So I think that should be your goal over the next, like 50 to 100 games or so. That would be your best bet.
All right.
All right. So you don't have any like final questions or anything like that?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I hope this was helpful, dude. And whenever you want to schedule the next 30 minutes, just hit me up and we can meet up again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck, dude.
All right. Thank you.
Peace.